Hey guys, welcome back to Home Built and day 2 on the MG build. Okay, so those of you who didn't see last episode, I'm in Adelaide at my parents' house and I am going to be doing a quick respray on my mum's old MGB. Yesterday we went through and rubbed everything back, exposed a lot of the bits. I replaced the door skins, so they're all looking good now. Now I just have to go through, there's a couple little dents and things. I need to do some quick panel work on it and yeah, then hopefully today we can get under primer. All right, first job is to go over, and there's a few bits where it's been sanded down to bare metal. There were little marks or something that need to be just touched up. So all of these bare metal spots we're going to go over now with a rust converter. In this case it's phosphoric acid. We'll leave it on for a little bit, clean it off, and then we'll just put a little bit of, just a little skim of body filler over the top to get them looking their best. Alright, we've been back at it all morning. I've got all the repairs sorted. They're all, I've just got these last, there's a couple of little tiny spots I need to just touch up in the corners, but the line share is all done. So now it's time to clean it up and we need to start masking it up for primer. So I don't have my masking machine here, obviously, at my parents' place, but this stuff is fantastic. This is actually just the same thing almost, just you get a roller. This one's 33 meters long, but this little thing, which already has the tape on the edge, this plastic rolls out to 1.8 meters wide. So really quick and simple. Probably even simpler than my masking machine, but anyway. Should make this job pretty easy considering there's not a lot to mask on this little car. There's the cockpit and the wheels. That's it. Okay, the whole thing is masked up, the doors are off. We're spraying the bonnet and the boot on the car. We are not going to be painting inside the bonnet and the boot, but we are doing inside the door jamb. So the bulk of the car looks good most of the time you're driving it. We've got the doors hanging up here, so everything is just getting prep sold now, ready to go, and then we can start priming. All right, we're all masked up, getting ready to actually put some primer on this car. I've got this old primer gun that Dad has had in the cupboard for 20 years. It's never been used. This should be perfect for what we're doing because I only brought my good gun with me, my vinyl spray gun, and it's only got a fine tip on it, so it's going to be a bit small to paint the high fill primer. This thing will do the job nicely. I'm going to use the Concepts Euro Primer again. I love this stuff. It's a good high fill primer. So I'm going to mix up a whole bunch now and get some colour on these bits. Okay, beginning of day 3. Now, I painted this yesterday, as you saw. I usually like to give this a week or more to set up, but just so that it has any chance to sink back or whatever. But we don't have the luxury of time today. I mean, it's all set, it's ready to go. So now we need to go over the whole thing with a guide coat. For those of you who don't actually understand what guide coats are, I'm going to dust over just with a spray can, because that's what we've got, of black paint. And you don't want it solid, you just want a dusting over there. And basically what that is for is so that when I start sanding it back, you can see all the bits that are low, because the black paint will still be there. So once once you've sanded the black off, that you've got a nice flat surface. So that's what we're going for today. So let's give it a quick guide coat, and then today's job is sanding, and that's why I'm passing it on to Mum and Dad. All right, everything is running to schedule. Day 3 down, and the primer has all been sanded back. We've done it all down. First we hit it all with 180, now 320. 320 is fine enough for this case. And yeah, so tomorrow it will be unmask, build the booth, and yeah, see if we can get this thing painted. Yeah! Okay, beginning of day 4, everything is running to schedule. The car's sanded back, it's ready to go. Now we need to start setting up my booth. Now we're not going to town like the booth I've got at home, but we're working on a similar principle. We're just going we're just peeling it back and making it a bit simpler. So let's start building. Okay, so now we've got the booth set up, the tent set up. We needed to work out some sort of air blower, and one of my brother's friends actually had a rental property that the tenants decided to turn into a grow house and grow marijuana in there. And when the police shut it down, he went through and they'd left behind these big fans. The actual fan itself inside is only small. This is like a, it's got like baffling in there, like a big muffler, so it's sort of quiet, so it didn't attract attention to the neighbours. But in any case, Steve's let us borrow this fan. So this is what we're going to use to pump air into the booth. I'm not going to suck air out of the booth. I want it positive pressure. Basically, Because this is, it's full of holes, it's not taped up properly, we're not going to town on sealing it because we don't have the time or the inclination to do it for this, this temporary job. It's better to try and push the air into the booth, and that way if there's any dust outside, they're going to get forced out. If you try and suck the fumes out, you're also going to suck dust into every gap, and you're going to get dust into the booth. And dust is what we're trying to prevent. So I've went down to local fabric store and just got some Dacron, which they use for quilting and stuff like that. This is what I'm going to use as my filter. And I've just gone through the scrap heap there, and there's this piece of wire mesh. I'm going to try and sort of cable tie some filter material in front of the fan, cut a hole in the booth, and force the air in one way so that we actually have a hopefully positive pressure booth, and we can get some painting done. It's not pretty, but I have now a filter in front of the fan to loosely filter the air that's going into the booth. So Mum's going around now and taping the sides of the plastic up around the base of the booth so that we've got a reasonable seal and we don't have the dust coming in from underneath. So now I think it's time to get the car started and move the car into the booth and start cleaning it up, ready to paint. All right, we're all in the booth. Time to give it a final clean, mask it up, and yeah, let's get some paint on this thing. All right, I'm just going to go around now, show you how we've set this all up. So these doors are going to get painted inside the garage here. We're going to wet the floor down so that it's nice and as clean as it can. We don't have enough room in the booth to do everything, so hopefully these don't get too dusty, but we're just going to work what we've got. We've set the fan up now. We've actually cable tied it to the booth, and it actually works quite well as positive pressure. We had it running before. You can see how we've taped up all the way around the base of the marquee so that it'll actually it actually sort of is reasonably well sealed. It's not perfectly sealed, but that's the point. And the car's in here, it's all masked up, ready to go. So our job now is to give it a final clean, wet the floor down, and start painting. So now it's time to finally start mixing up some paint. And what we've done is, Mum really hated the red colour that the car was before. It was sort of like an orangey red colour. It didn't know if it was red or if it was orange. She really likes the deeper, darker red. So that's why I'm doing inside the door frames and inside the door jambs. We're not doing the engine bay or the boot. They're not going to match, but not too concerned about that. This is not a show car. This is just a nice little weekend driver that hopefully will look a little bit tidier and neater. So this is not a how to spray something properly or thoroughly, but this is how to do, how at least I'm doing a quick tidy up. So here's the color here, and it's a deep, deep, dark red. It's a 2-to-1, so again, using my mixing cup, 2-to-1. I'm using the 2-to-1 on the inside there, so you pick which height you want, how much paint you want. I'm going to fill it up to the highest level because I think I need a fair bit of paint. So I fill the first level up to A, the second, the hardener up to B, and then 10% reducer, and we should be good. Or actually 10% 2K thinner actually. right, time to walk around and have a look at the finish. Overall, I'm pretty happy. There is some dust in it. I had the paint, I don't know how well the camera's going to pick this up. There's a bit of orange peel in it. The first coat I had, the paint, I didn't have it quite thinned down enough. You can see that there's some dust sort of bits in the paint. I don't know whether you can pick it up here. And you know, I knew there was going to be some dust in it. There's not too many dry spots. It's pretty good overall. My parents are happy. I'm much more critical about it than they are. The doors came out great. Again, you know, a couple of little spots of dust and stuff in it up here, but overall, oh, and there's a little tiny run just here on the edge and a little drip on the base there. Oh, and there's a little run here in the door. Okay, yeah, that'll chop out pretty easy. That's a light run. This door looks great, so. All right, for a Mad Rush 4-day respray, I think that came out pretty good. Not a show car, but it's exactly what they wanted. So in any case, that means it's time for Fun Facts with Jeff's family, which here they are.
Where do I begin? Wow, fun facts with Jeff. Let me think. Age of 3, pulls the carrot out of the garden, washes it in the dog's bowl. That's really nice, yeah. You wonder why I told him off. Years later, when he was older, decided to take the tractor for a spin and finished up putting the front end loader through the side of a shed. Plus, with his brother in the shearing shed, they almost blew the damn thing up with a mixture of chlorine and brake fluid. But I don't want to get too harsh on him because he's done a fabulous job with my car. Thank you.
Some people say he can spray paint a car. Some people say that he can build a car. Most of us think that he's just colourblind.
When Jeff was about 16 or 17, he decided to take a motorbike off the back of a truck. He decided if he drove it hard, he could jump off. He hit the rim on the back of the truck on the side of the truck with his back wheel and nosedived straight into the dirt.
And MG won the first Australian Grand Prix in Victor Harbour.
Yeah.
Okay, so unfortunately we won't be able to complete putting this together because I actually fly home in a couple of hours. So that will have to be a job for another day, but Mum and Dad have got some ordering to do for new rubbers and they've got to do something about wheels now and all sorts of things because nothing really matches anymore. So they have to do some tidying up and we'll do something about that later. All right, guys, see ya.